What is up, everybody? My name is Whooped. Welcome to my Win and Learn to the Top 100 series. My current MMR is 1,881. I'm going to show a replay of one of my recent games and kind of go over it and explain my thoughts. There's a lot of unknown when it comes to defending the Spider and Phantom Red combo, so I kind of want to go over it in case this is something you find yourself running into. My opponent is a little under 1900 MMR. I start pretty standard, very standard opening for me. Go ahead and put down the crawlers. If I started crawlers, I probably would have put down the arc lights. I didn't know if my opponent would be over here or over here, so I just build in the middle. Typically what ends up happening is these two actually would go right in this case, but he was so far over that they didn't actually aggro onto one of the units. But I ended up taking the tower pretty fast, so that was, that was good. It worked out. So I had a feeling that he might go Phantom right here. He actually ended up taking Mustangs, which kind of threw me off a little bit because I did not expect the Phantom Ray later on. So initially I was going to put an arc light on the top to kind of take some of the aggro, but this sniper was actually going to turn around and shoot him, and I didn't want him to die so fast. So I ended up changing my mind and putting him somewhere over here in the corner, and I'm glad I did because he actually ends up flanking me. And the reason I actually took the Mustangs is because I'm going to go into like what a typical defense is. Against spiders, I think it's good to have Mustangs to help kill the spider mines, but they're a good pairing with something like scorpions because, you can clear the chaff, the scorpions hit the spiders. It's an all-around good pairing, really. But I'm glad I actually moved this down here. We were able to clean up the flank pretty nicely. And we're still getting on his tower, which is nice. He's not really defending that, so. But basically, my thought process at this moment is, okay, so he's going to, go the typical spider game. Let's go ahead and get a couple Mustangs down. We'll get our Scorpions. We'll start with Scorpion in the corner, and then we'll kind of work our way towards the middle. We have the missile on the left just in case he tries to flank us. I thought about taking the sticky bomb, but of course, it's really difficult to pass up the extra deployment. So I do put the Scorpion down, and I also missile this out. And the reason I missile this out is because I want to clear this as fast as possible so I can get to the main fight. I do not want him to take my tower, right? So I didn't know this was here, but because I missiled this out, I was actually able to defend both of this really fast. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is actually really easy. I got my Mustangs down. I got my Scorpion down. I'm going to add, a couple more next round, probably more chaff. Right now, we're in the driver's seat. Our defense is holding solid. Typically, what happens is you dip down a little bit and then come back up and stabilize. But we have plenty of HP. He doesn't. We're looking at like a round 5 win right now. So he has to pull something out. He can't continue on with the status quo or else it's just going to go wildly in our favor. But I actually take the supply enhancement because I figure just in case, let's go ahead and bolster our economy a little bit. I dropped the steel balls, and the reason I get the steel balls is because I want to put pressure on this tower, right? He thinks that it's just enough to, level it up once or twice and kind of keep it there. But, we're not going to let him get away with that. If he wants his tower not to be taken, then he's going to have to put resources into it. So we're going to go ahead and put the steel balls there. And then we do drop down another Scorpion. And we're going to missile these out as well. I also put a shield up just so the spider can't kill our Mustangs. So we need the Mustangs to stay alive. Now, what I did not expect was him to drop 3 Phantom Rays. Like, that's absolutely crazy. Caught me off guard completely. And he did get this tower. Oh, it's still level 2. Never mind. I thought it was level 3. But we're able to clear the flank so fast that we're actually already in the fight while we have the debuff on the tower. And that's exactly what we want. Now, our Mustangs don't have range, but, we only have so many supplies. And we're going to get the other tower as well, which is fantastic. So right now I'm thinking, you know, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. I go with the armor and I give it to the steel balls because I don't want them to die to a missile. Because, you know, that's like a typical response is missiling them out. So I don't want them to die to a missile. And then I also put Wasp there to block any missile that he puts down. So sometimes they'll put like a missile in the front and then a missile by the tower. And so I put the Wasp to take the missile in the front and then the armor to take the missile by the tower. Now, I did not expect him to drop 3 more Phantom Wrists. Or yeah, he dropped 4 Phantom Wrists, excuse me. So he has 7 in total. And I did add Mustangs just in case. And I did upgrade this Mustang to a 3. But I do not have enough supplies to actually get, you know, range and anti-air on them. So I'm actually not feeling the best right now because I know he does have air and it was a possibility he added more. I did not expect 4 more. So at this point I'm kind of... Alarm bells are ringing because he has armor enhancement. He has armor enhancement. And so I know that if he clicks that, the only Mustangs that could do damage really are my level 3s. And I'd really have to get anti-air if I want them to do any sort of damage against that. And so basically my path is, do I want to add Phoenix? Do I want to add Marksman? Do I want to add Melters? Also, you have to take into consideration that whatever you add has to be decent against spiders as well. And so it's at this point I'm like, okay, I need to do something. I can't afford the game to slip away, right? You know, we need to do something. We can't afford to have the game slip away. We have a ton of HP to play with, so it's not something we have to do immediately this round. But he has a lot of upgrades. He can click armor enhancement. We need to do something. And so I take the Sabertooth and I sell it, right? To give us, you know, a boost to our economy. And I drop a Melter. And this is basically the pinnacle of a defense. If you're going against Spider or Phantom Ray, this is what you do. You get range, you get energy diffraction, or what I call multi-melter. You let them get to work. It's good to pair them with Mustangs. So you could have Mustang, Melter, whatever you want to do. But basically the defense against Phantom Ray and Spiders, but in this particular case, mostly just Phantom Ray, is multi-melter. And of course I am paying the range tax as well as borrowing. Unfortunately, I couldn't get out of these. So I wanted to sell it and, you know, put the armor onto this melting point, but I actually only had 50. I miscalculated, so I should have done that earlier. I did not, but it's okay. I just brought them back just so they could play a little bit of interference so they don't lock onto the melter right away. And even when you're going against air, it's important to win the ground battle. So, you know, don't... you know, take it for granted. You still have to win the ground. But the multi-melters just do absolute work. You know, it's not something you really even had a chance against. Multi-melters are just going to town. I think the opponent saw that he was basically losing, so he tried to throw a Hail Mary, and I completely respect it. I think we did a good job pivoting into multi-melters and finishing out the game. I hear a lot of talk about, you know, how do you stop Phantom Ray Spider? And even though this wasn't the strongest showing of Phantom Ray Spider, I just thought I'd put it out there anyway. Kind of say, hey, if it's something that you know is coming, go ahead and pivot to the multi-melter, essentially. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'm Whooped. Thanks for watching.
This is Mechabellum, and it's going down.